Yo. The 7th Team Fortress 2 comic has been confirmed and is in the works. Team Fortress 2 has had a comic series that has helped expand its universe, and it's also one of the funniest things I've ever read in my entire life. The comic series started in 2013, and it would get new issues, usually tied to in-game events, periodically, although they have been making comic-related stuff since 2009. The latest comic was comic number 6, and it was released in early 2017. And fans have been waiting for a long time for the awaited final issue, comic number 7. And for a long time, there was nothing new. The 6th comic also coincided with the last major update for Team Fortress, which was in 2017, Jungle Inferno. And lately there were some, at the time unverified, supposed leaks of this 7th comic. That was until the Valve writer Eric Wolpow, apologies if I mispronounced that, he worked on the previous comics and confirmed that these leaks about the 7th comic is legitimate. There's actually a precedent for this. Dota 2 has been getting its Crownfall update and has been getting comics of its own for this event. And it's also been confirmed that Valve's other unreleased game, Deadlock, will have a visual novel aspect, which isn't too far off from a comic. So Valve's been busy with making this kind of content. Hi Internet Wanderer, my name's Argonax. I make video reviews, essays, commentaries, and shorts. I hope you enjoy my content enough to do the YouTube things. Anyway, back to the topic at hand. For anyone wanting to see a well-made voice acting cover of the comics, I would recommend the Beard series on these comics. The voice acting is amazing. Or just read them yourself. I'll put the links to both his playlist and the comics in the description below. And while I'm on the topic of recommending things, some of the comics that Valve has made for Dota is also hilarious. You don't need to have any knowledge about the Dota universe. A lot of these are just various characters literally just dicking around. It's pretty funny. I'm fairly certain some of the writers were the same guys from TF2. So you'll see a lot of parallels. It's nice. Link to that below as well. Now, it's no secret that Team Fortress 2 has been starved for content for a long time. And Valve damn well knows that fact. The Team Fortress community just had a massive movement last month to get rid of the bot problem that has been plaguing the game for years now. And so far, the botters and cheaters seem to be gone, for now. Unless Valve does something to ensure that these bad actors stay away. But I won't go into more detail. I've already made many videos about this topic, feel free to watch those. But anyway, covering this comic leak, there's only 2 pages that were leaked. Number 1 is presumably the first page of the comic, which is very reminiscent to the first page of issue 6. In issue 6, we see Miss Pauling, one of the major supporting characters of the comic, passed out in the desert. And in this new comic, it mirrors that. But rather than it being Miss Pauling, we see 9 Merc-shaped skeletons in the desert. The other thing that was leaked was a transcript, or more like an outline, for the intro of this comic. Everything is staged to make it seem like the mercenaries and Miss Pauling are dead, but it's obvious that they're just doing some subversion of that good old switcheroo for the reader. I don't think they're actually dead, they're just trying to trick the reader, setting up a joke, probably. The second page also confirms that there is going to be a 6-year time skip, with the comic being set in 1978, in universe of course. Fun fact, the last comic was made in 2017, and in real life, a 6-year time skip would place this in 2023. Was this comic supposed to be released last year, but in typical Valve fashion time, they weren't able to deliver on the planned date? Who knows? This is just speculation and is a theory I have. One thing I actually didn't notice in my first look around was at the very top of the second page, it actually says Team Fortress issue number 7, draft 27. And this 27th draft was dated for June 15th of this year, which is to say, holy shit, there's been 27 drafts of this comic. And there was a comic draft being worked on in the middle of the fixed TF2 movement. Will they potentially reference these movements in the comics? Who's to say? It'd be interesting to see. A lot of people have already covered the fact that this comic is released, and the community seems to be extremely excited, as am I, rightfully so. Any official Valve content for TF2, especially out-of-game media, is huge because the implications are vast. In my opinion, there is no way that they're going to release just the comic. Whenever the comic will release, it's probably going to come out with, fingers crossed, the long-awaited heavy update. Okay, maybe not that, but an update of some kind. And I'm not talking about like a seasonal update. No, not, this isn't gonna be some cosmetic crate that we're getting or just like one new game mode. I'm talking a complete package, similar to the scale of Gunmetal, Love and War, Jungle Inferno. Maybe I'm just being overly hopeful. I think the kids call it huffing that copium. But I think Valve is finally entertaining the idea of actively updating TF2 again. And this also brings up a rather touchy subject, something that a lot of people don't like to admit. The game is 17 years old. There are very few games on this planet, especially as first-person shooters are concerned, that can state that they've had an active player base and community for that long. And even years ago, people already knew that the 7th comic was going to be the final one. So maybe, assuming that we are actually getting an update with this comic, we can expect it to be the final TF2 update. Maybe they'll add some functionality to allow the community to influence the game itself. I don't know. But no matter what this update will have, I get a sense of finality that's coming. And that doesn't necessarily have to be a bad thing. The game has had a good run and people just want and Valve is probably looking for a way to give it that final send-off, handing the keys to the game to the community that has kept it alive for so long. I'm not saying that the game will be discontinued or the servers will be shut off by Valve, no. But in my opinion, the last content update, Jungle Inferno, just wasn't my idea of a final send-off in my eyes. Regardless, whenever this last comic comes out, and if it really does come out with an update, it will be something to behold. Perhaps this new update could potentially bring some new quality of life improvements to the game. I saw this thing on Reddit earlier today about a concept for a new main menu. Everything is all modernized, made to be more appealing. Little things that could help encourage a more modern player base to keep the game alive. Because ultimately, that should be the goal. A final update is not only there for the longtime players, but also to get people to finally give the game a try. But again, that's just me dreaming, huh? Even if an update doesn't come, I think people would just be happy with the new comic. But I like to believe that Valve is gonna do a little more than just that. Just spitballing idea names here. But what if this last update renamed the game to, I don't know, Team Fortress Forever? You know, that has a nice ring to it. While the Fix TF2 movement has done a good job of making Valve get off their ass with Team Fortress 2, I imagine that this comic was in the works for a while now. And I'm very excited that we have verifiable new stuff for Team Fortress 2 many years later. Thanks for watching, Internet Wanderer. Do the YouTube things.